Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. I am Robert Storm. As always, if you find me for the very first time, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button because it helps out the channel a lot. And this reflection on my glasses is killing me. Like look at this. Look at this. It's like, Jesus, man. So, hell with that. I'm taking the glasses off. Just look, man. Just look. I'm like, you can't. Fine, I'll deal with it. Okay, so I'm on superherohype.com, and according to this, Carrie Fisher's brother, Todd Fisher, had an interview with Yahoo News, and he basically said that they had eight minutes of, I almost said 8 hours. Not 8 hours, Rob. Not 8 hours. 8 minutes. 8 minutes, Rob. They had 8 minutes of unused footage of Carrie Fisher that they managed to, re-engineer for Rise of Skywalker, and he said they kind of cut it in and made it work really, really well. It was very well done, he says. So now we know that Carrie Fisher's only going to be in the movie 8 minutes. Now, is that a complete bummer? Because I want to talk about this. Now, before we get into the actual screen time Carrie Fisher has and if that's a bad thing or a good thing, let's talk about what the original plan for Carrie Fisher in episode 9 was going to be, because Todd Fisher goes into detail saying that the ninth movie, episode 9, was going to really feature her getting her own lightsaber. It was really going to have a lot of payoff, and she was going to be the main central character within that movie. Now, if that is true, that kind of contradicts everything we've heard about this new trilogy, because we've heard from several sources that they didn't have a game plan going into this final trilogy. To say that Todd Fisher said that Leia was going to have her lightsaber in the final film, it was going to be very centric around her, I don't know how much you want to take into account. Is that true? I'm not saying he's lying by any means. We just know that there's been huge creative differences with this trilogy. Now, let's not forget, Mark Hamill also said he had a much different role that he was promised than he was actually given. So maybe Carrie Fisher was promised this in the third movie of the trilogy in episode 9, and they just kind of did something different with it. But Todd heard that, and that's what Todd is saying. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe Leia was promised this. Doesn't mean that we're going to go that route. I would have loved to see it, but I still think they can kind of handle something like that in this movie. So let's get back to this 8-minute thing. I want to talk about this 8-minute. I know a lot of people are probably jumping off a building right now going, see, they're going to fuck up this movie because Leia's only going to be in it for 8 minutes. Well, one, I just want to remind everybody. Vader only had 10 minutes of screen time in A New Hope. So let that sink in. Doesn't really matter how much screen time you have, as long as it's memorable and it counts and it's something that stands out in the movie. I just want to see if they can do it and do it correctly. That's the important thing for me. I think if they do it correctly, I think it would work. And a lot of times, if you do it the right way, you don't even notice. Like I said, episode 4, Vader was in it for a total of 10 minutes. You go back and you watch that movie, you're not sitting there going, you know what, Vader was barely in this movie. No, because Vader's scenes were very memorable, so your mind thinks he was in the movie very prominently, when in fact he wasn't really prominent. He had a very small role. He was very much of a secondary character, even though he was this larger-than-life character that just dominated the screen when he was on there. Just in actuality, he only had 10 minutes of screen time. So Carrie Fisher having only 8 minutes of screen time, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes less is more, depending on what your role is, but that is all going to depend on how they use her and how she is in the film. Because like I said, they're reusing 8 minutes of unused footage from Force Awakens, and I believe a little bit from Last Jedi, from what I was told. So I don't know that for sure. Now we get to the point where how is this going to work? How is this going to work? How are we going to get in here? And, what kind of role could she possibly have with 8 minutes of unused footage? Because it looks like a lot of it's going to be done from Force Awakens. So I heard rumors that Luke is going to be training her in flashback scenes and all kinds of stuff. So I'll be very interested to see how they handle this. But I don't think fans should automatically take this as a giant negative. There will be those fans that go out and they will say, this is a huge negative. This is another reason why this film is going to fail. But I just want to remind those fans that Vader only has 10 minutes of screen time in A New Hope. So that necessarily doesn't mean everything. It really depends on how it is used through the film. I'm hoping that JJ will do this character right, do this movie right, and we will get the send-off that we deserve as Star Wars fans. And I'm not talking about just Carrie Fisher send-off, because I want her to have a good send-off, but I'm talking about as a Star Wars fan. I want to see this movie done right. I think everybody does, right? But anyway, guys, be sure to leave your comments in the comment box below. Until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that is my opinion.